Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 2024 Nissan GT-R T-Spec Takumi edition. Up front is a 3.8-liter twin-turbo V6, and down below is a 6-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Nissan GT-R for many reasons. First of all, it's been so many years since I've driven a GT-R here on the channel. I reviewed an 09 way back in the day, before I even started doing reviews full time. And so now that the GT-R has left production, it's time to give it a little send-off and give the R35 GT-R a proper review. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But what makes the T-Spec Takumi edition so special? Well, I know Takumi has the association with initial D. It's actually not from that. Takumi in Japanese means the master. That is someone who has honed their craft time and time again. And so it's a sort of send-off here for the R35 GT-R, and to commemorate all the men and women that put so much work into making this one of the most technologically advanced Nissans ever built. And so with that, we get the gold wheels. Under the hood, we actually get a gold VIN plate, which is special here for the Takumi T-Spec. And it's hard to tell, but it does have midnight purple paint. Unfortunately, it's overcast here today, and the car is going to look black in the video. However, these are the press photos. This is the same exact color when actually put in the light properly, and so it is a brilliant color. We also do get special T-Spec badging and, of course, some green accented interior. But let's get back to that 3.8-liter twin-turbo V6. Well, here in the Takumi edition, it makes 565 horsepower, and it does not mess around. It is a hand-built engine also, so it famously could be making more, could be making a touch less. I don't know, because I'd have to ask the person that built it on that specific day. What I can tell you is that it's an amazing engine. As much as I love my RB26, this is a superior engine when it comes to power. This car does not mess around, and you learn that very, very quickly. Just a little highway merging ramp. I'm up to speed. Yep, I'm up to speed. Oh, good grief. And the thing about it is that there's almost no theatrics. You don't really hear all that much with this stock exhaust, even for the Takumi T-Spec. There's no wiggling with the all-wheel drive. It's so pinpoint accurate that there's no fluff. There's no theatrics, which I always like a car to have a little bit of theatrics. I like this sort of back and forth conversation of, ooh, will they, won't they, when I'm driving a car. I like when a car keeps me on my toes. This car doesn't keep me on my toes. It puts me in the back seat and just says, watch this. If you would have asked me, Zach, do you think there's a VR DETT under the hood or a cruise missile, I honestly don't know what I would tell you, and I don't know what I feel right now. This car will kill you with a spreadsheet. Like that's what this feels like. It feels like it's been honed and crafted and built in a factory of madmen rather than on an assembly line. An assembly line seems too fragile and uncertain for a car like this. That's what it feels like to drive. Now, like I said, paired to it is a dual clutch 6-speed automatic transmission. Is it a great transmission? Yes, with an asterisk. When you lay into it like I just did, it is absolutely phenomenal. It's my right-hand man. It's everything I want in this planet. Around town, it's still bad. Now, the 2009, the earlier cars were even worse. It felt like a toddler was kicking you in the back anytime it would drop into gear. This is better. They definitely fixed it a fair amount, but it's still not great around town. You notice these weird hesitations, these weird dumps into gear because it is so ready to go. At a moment's notice, it'll take its top off and start boogieing. So, as much as I love it in a fast way, for slow speed driving, this ain't the one, but why would you do that in a GT-R? I raise you that question. Last but not least, of course, the GTR is all-wheel drive, very famously. How does it feel to drive the T-Spec Takumi R35 GTR? It's great. Like I said, it doesn't have much personality, but it doesn't matter because it's targeted. It has heat-seeking abilities. You put it on tarmac, you put your foot down, and the rest of the world spins backwards. That's what it feels like to drive this car. And so I also do love driving cars where I feel like the weakest link. I am not able to extract all of the crazy power that this car makes. I'm not able to use that 565 to its full potential because I'm just weak-willed. I don't have it in me to test this thing as far as it's willing to go. And that's actually a good thing. I will never outdrive this car because this car will always outsmart me. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is a speedometer that goes up to 220. In the center is the tachometer, and off to the right is coolant temperature and fuel. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our selectors for that little gauge cluster screen, as well as our source and volume and go back. And off to the right, we have cruise control options and phone options. This is actually the most modern feeling part of the GTR. The steering wheel actually looks pretty good. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent. We have our mirror switches, as well as down below, we have trunk release and parking sensors, as well as a slot for your key. Moving on to the door, we have lock and unlock and power windows, but here's where you'll really start to notice the green accented interior, which I love. I think it goes with the paint very, very well, as well as the gold wheels. Moving into the center, we do get a Bose sound system. Absolutely phenomenal system. I adore this, and it's been so fun to drive around with. But then we have our infotainment. So we do have a CD player, which in 2024 is pretty wild. We do have Apple CarPlay as well. However, it is wired. But what you're all waiting for is the performance pages. The GTR was famous for having this. You can select and customize different performance pages for the vehicle, which is so, so cool to keep an eye on everything. And honestly, if you're a big fan of statistics and numbers and numerals, this is a great, great area of the car for you. It does have a backup camera. It's atrociously low quality for this car being close to $150,000, but it has one, so there you go. Down below that, we have 2 climate control vents, as well as the climate controls themselves. We get dual zone climate, which is always nice to see in a smaller interior like this. And then we have some drive modes. So we have our power modes, suspension modes, and traction modes on these little rocker switches. The cool thing about these rocker switches is that they instantly turn the mode off. But to turn them on, you have to hold them up until the red R illuminates. I find this really, really cool just because it's almost like the car saying, you sure? Let's make sure that you're sure that this is what you want to do. And then it lets you go into the mode. But if you want to turn it off, you want to back out, it says, hey, no worries, immediately turns off whatever mode it was in. That is really, really cool, and that does sort of humanize the car a little bit. It's this almost check and balance of, hey, this is going to get serious really quick. Are you sure you want to do this? And every single time, I say, yes, GTR, I want the power. Then we do have a red start-stop button and the shifter. I'll be honest, I never grew to like the shifter. I think it's clunky. There's no direct line into drive. Every single time, it just felt weird. But once you put it into drive, you don't touch it again, so it's fine. Down below that, we do have a little scroll wheel for the infotainment. If you don't want to use the touchscreen, you can use this. I spent 2 days driving this GTR and a Blue Skyline edition, and the only time I touched this dial was for the video you're seeing now. I never used this. I didn't feel the need. Then we do have a badge that says T-Spec, again, in the Skyline edition that I did a different video with. It said Skyline edition. So a cool little bonus plaque here. I wish that they numbered it, but that's okay. Then we do have a physical parking brake and cup holders, which we will do a big friggin' bottle test. And the R35 GTR passes the big friggin' bottle test. I was shocked. The Nissan Armada does not. The Frontier does not. But the lone R35 GTR passes the big friggin' bottle test, and I will be celebrating heavily upon that tonight. Then we do get a center console, 2 USB-As, as well as an aux port in there, and a 12-volt outlet. So kind of showing its age there, but there wasn't really any reason to upgrade it to USB-C when this was already on its deathbed. The seats are comfortable. They are heated, which is very nice, and power, and as you'll notice, they are this special green color for the T-Spec Takumi edition. So very, very special there. As a bigger guy, I do fit in them. They've been comfortable enough, and I don't have any complaints. However, where I will have complaints is in the back seats. So let's hop back there and do a back seat review. All right, it's time to crawl into the back seats. Let's see what the situation is here. So we have handles. Pull this up and pull that forward. Then we can use this to scoot it forward. But as you can see, the front seats were touching the back seats. So I will try my best to get back here, but it's gonna require the seat to be all the way forward. That's as far forward as it goes. Let me get situated here. I'm in the back seat of the GTR. GTRs have never had good back seats. R32, R33, R34, none of them have good back seats. Now, in the past, the Skyline, of which the GTR used to be based off of, was offered in sedan. So you could find like a GTST sedan, a turbo manual four-door that had actually very comfy back seats. This GTR that came to America never got that option. It wasn't based off of the Skyline, and so there wasn't any bigger chassis available or a four-door variant, so we're stuck with this. This is not comfortable at all. The seat has to be touching the dashboard in order for me to put my feet back here, which is not a great place to be. But the attention to detail carried on because these seats are green as well. Just like the front seats, they carried it on for the back. Take notes, Honda. I know the Honda Prelude gets black back seats no matter what the front seats look like. Nissan went the extra mile with the green back seats. So, attention to detail matters, and Nissan has it. Let's talk about the trunk space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, we're on the back of the R35 GTR T-Spec Takumi, and I already popped it from inside. There's a little trunk popper, like down by where the hood popper is, because there is actually no external popper here on the GTR. It's either the key fob or the inside button. But once we are in here, this is the trunk of a Nissan GTR R35. It is pretty deep, which is very, very nice, but the opening isn't super large, so you're not fitting a whole bunch of stuff in here, but it's honestly actually very usable and probably more usable than any of the other GTRs that came before it. So, daily GTR? Possibly. And we'll talk more about that. But here's the trunk space. You do get this nice little leather strap thing to pull it right back down. There you go, the trunk of the GTR. Now we gotta talk about the looks. And again, I'm so frustrated that you can't really see the deep purple color. This color's called Midnight Purple. They brought it back from their heritage paint vault, and it looks great in certain lights, but in this dull light, it does not. But that's okay. The R35 itself looks fantastic, and I think it aged pretty gracefully. I still think it looks good the 12, 13 years after its release. And they've done minor facelifts throughout the GTR's life, but never anything major. The R35, by and large, looks the same as it did when it rolled out in 2008, so I'm not shocked there. And sure, I guess one could say, it's getting a little tired, but honestly, to me, like standing, filming these shots in a parking lot, I was ear to ear grinning the entire time because it's a GTR. Like, that's it. Anyway, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving not only yet another R35 GTR here on the channel, but one of the final editions, the Takumi T-Spec, which they only made 50 of. They only made 50 of these, which is so incredibly special. Well, that's just it. I could be critical here and say the transmission needs work around town. The tech in here is severely outdated. The car itself feels like a 2015, not a 2024. And that's normally not a great place for a car to be in. If this was the Sentra, I would say it's outdated, go with one of the competition. But the GTR was never about the infotainment. The GTR was never about USB ports. This car was about the pursuit of building something great and building something better than what came before it. And so in that respect, is this incredibly fun to drive? Yes, it still accomplishes that goal flawlessly. This is still the best Nissan made. This is still a bloodthirsty track car. This car is the embodiment of Lewis Hamilton. Maybe his heyday is behind him, but he's still performing at such a high level. And with his track record, he's completely undeniable. Undeniable as the GOAT. That's what this car is. Sure, maybe it showed its age by 2024, but it's still the GOAT. It's still the best. This is the little Japanese car that took down supercars. This is the David that defeated Goliath. And it didn't defeat Goliath because Nissan had more money. It didn't defeat Goliath because somehow the designers found plans for an unreleased Lamborghini and stole it. No, this car beat Goliath off the merit of the engineers. The men and women that designed, built, and marketed this car were firing on all cylinders. They took this very, very seriously. And it's because of their blood, sweat, and tears that we have such an incredible product that is only going to appreciate and only going to become a classic. For the rest of my life, anytime I see an R35 GTR, I will smile and I will know that that driver is having the time of their life and driving something incredibly special. Whether it's a base model or a Nismo or a Takumi T-Spec or a Skyline edition, whatever it is, the R35 has solidified itself on the Mount Rushmore of automobiles. And to be driving one is the highest honor I can think of. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge, incredible thank you to Nissan of North America for letting me borrow their GTR for a whole day, let alone I borrowed one of their Skyline editions last night to do a separate video with. And honestly, they don't sell this car anymore, so Nissan of North America has really nothing to gain by letting me drive a GTR for a day. This isn't a sales pitch. You can't buy one anymore. But they've opened up their doors to me, and I am so incredibly thankful for everyone that's made it possible. Michael, Steve, and Steven, I owe you everything. What an amazing, amazing day it has been with the T-Spec Takumi Nissan GTR. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, subscribe if you really liked it, and let's just give one more. Take care, guys.